All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, happy to be speaking with an individual who is slated to throw down on October the 16th in a middleweight affair. Bruno Silva and Andrew Sanchez throwing down on UFC Fight Night, and welcoming Andrew back onto the show. How's the day going so far there, man?
The day's going good. Pretty typical training, resting, eating. This is my life. How are you doing?
No, you love to hear it, man, and I'm doing well too. Appreciate you asking about that. But I was seeing the social media post you had there after the last fight. Like, it looked like you were getting out there into nature and kind of just clearing the head, contemplating on, I guess, presumably aspects of the camp and the fight itself. Is that sort of a common kind of occurrence, like after each fight, just that sort of reflection and contemplating just everything that went into it there?
Yeah, man. The whole thing, going back to the drawing board, it's so true. Whether it's a win or a loss, you have to go and reflect and look at your faults and mistakes and also successes, and kind of like sometimes you have to refine your motivation. And in my case, that was what happened. I had lost the fight and I had a bad injury. I had to kind of, it's tough, so you got to go and reflect, and that involves kind of taking a vacation. You got to take time for yourself, get away, go out in nature, whatever you like to do, and recenter, and then back to the drawing board, or training, in my case. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the training dynamic seems interesting too, because like the last time we were talking, it seemed like you were predominantly getting in work at Tristar, but from what I can tell on social media, it seems like AKA has been a big part of the preparations. Like, how long has that been going on for there, man?
I've been here about 3 months now, and Tristar is wonderful, it's great, but with COVID, I know every gym was suffering with COVID, but
yeah.
Up in Montreal, man, oh my God, like, we were all hiding out from the cops. The cops were coming there every day, banging on the door.
I know. Yeah.
You're up in Canada, right? So, like, you understand.
Yeah, no, I know the general landscape with all that.
And it was insane. So the gym kind of died down, but the biggest thing was, like, I'm a wrestler originally, and I kind of, I had to fill a hole, which was my striking, and then I had to spend some time on that, fine, but we kind of got to go back to where it all started, like, it's easy to lose yourself in this sport, there's so many things coming at you, so many different directions with coaches, and do this and do that, and, like, traditionally, what's the best place for a wrestler to go to learn MMA? Is AKA, man, like, oh my God, the list of champions they have, wrestling heavy, Cain Velasquez, Khabib, DC, all these guys. So it just made sense, to kind of like go full circle and go back to my roots a bit.
Yeah, and it seems like there's like a distinct sort of vibe in the gym. Not that, similar, atmosphere wouldn't have been in the previous gyms there, but I've been seeing the Instagram pics and videos of just, the different pictures of the champs on the wall, and, Khabib giving the coaching insights and stuff like that. So it looks like you're really just like relishing it in and soaking in everything you can get from that there, man.
Yeah. It's a rich history, man, like there's a big list of champions, and like today I went to training and Cain Velasquez showed up, and everybody looks up to Cain, like Luke Rockhold was there too. You can see everybody's eyes, even DC, I hear, Khabib, everyone looks up to Cain, and but the list goes on. Before that, like Khabib and the Russian crew was there, and you just listen to him talk and coach, and you pick up any little, because like one tiny little thing that they say could, make the difference at the end of the day. And so I'm very inspired being here, being around these great champions. And I don't know. It's something about the mentality of the gym, like the atmosphere. It's very like lights a fire under you, So I feel very motivated. And I feel very confident again, and I really like it here.
Yeah, and I was seeing a few weeks back there, you had a bit of an anniversary moment there, like the August 2015, winning the RFA title in your home city and everything like that. As much as you're, present in the moment, looking forward to what's next to a degree. Is there something to like looking at those kind of moments and reflecting on the, redemption that was there, the special moment? Can you kind of talk about that anniversary there for you?
Yeah, I think about how when it's all said and done, my career is over, and I look back, like, it's not necessarily about the wins and losses. I mean, it is to a certain extent, but really it's about, like, the experience. Every story is like, every fight is like a unique story, right? The circumstances are always different, two fights ago I was preparing for a fight during COVID, and, all these different stressors and motivated. Everything's always different. It's a different story. So I look back to the John Pop, the fight, the RFA title fight. That was an incredible moment for me. Because I had fought for the same title, maybe a year prior, and I got knocked out brutally. I was like a cocky kid. I thought I could strike. I couldn't strike for shit. I should have wrestled the guy. And I got knocked out. That was against Kevin Casey, by the way. Got knocked out. I had to take a huge layoff, 6 months, because I was having headaches, and I didn't know if I was ever gonna be the same. I was scared to get hit, scared to come back. So all these questions, and then I did come back. I won a couple fights, and I fought for the title in my hometown of St. Louis, and it was just, I don't know, it's just like my first spectacular performance. I feel the crowd loved it, everyone in the world loved it. It was a bloodbath. It was the first time I showed off my striking, kind of what I'm capable of on the feet. And it was just an incredible moment. And I'll always remember, those moments, those very special fights. Above all, I've had many wins, and winning's cool, but, it's the story behind it. It's everything. It's the little details, right, that make it very special. So that's what it's all about, man. These great performances that you can look back on and be proud of,
Yeah, and you seem very oriented in the details, even in the Wellington Turman victory you had there. It seemed like the shoring up of the 1-2 and just having, the real, sharpened 1-2 was something you were very enthused about there.
Yeah, the 1-2, that was... I spent so much time working on that fucking combination, man. And my coach Conrad, it sounds silly, but, but honestly, it's great. I went back and I kind of obsessed about these, learning the jab and the 1-2 and which is important, these fundamental things. But I'm also learning these fundamental, techniques in the peak of my career, fighting at the highest level, and that's not necessarily the best thing because there's so much else to worry about. So, it was good that I did that to kind of fill a hole in the grappling. But now I'm almost not thinking again, and which is you can't think in there. There's too much. If you're thinking of a specific technique you're gonna hit in sparring, you're gonna get you're distracted. You're not looking at the overall picture. So I'm back to thinking very general, and doing it all and kind of letting it come naturally. And this is how you have to if you want to perform. You can't be thinking in there. So, but yeah, the 1-2, man, the 1-2, I get made fun of in the gym because people are working on the thing, and I'm constantly just 1-2 in the mirror, 1-2 on the bag, 1-2. I just had to get it, and then it's funny because you can learn a technique from a coach, and you can at first it's on pads or in shadow boxing, and then on the bag, but it takes a while to happen in sparring usually, there's a bit of a delay, so. It took forever. I kind of had it on the pads, and then in sparring it was atrocious because I was trying too hard, and then I abandoned it, and then it just came to me one day, 2 weeks before the fight. I just started landing these bomb 1-2s, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" This is 2 weeks. Oh my god! What perfect timing! And then for it to actually happen in the fight in such a brutal fashion, it was a nice knockout. It was just very exciting and rewarding. After spending all that fucking time and getting made fun of at the gym for being the weirdo in the corner throwing 1-2, so it was nice, man. It felt good, validating, I guess. I'm yeah, you fucking guys, I told you. But yeah, that was cool, man. that was another one of those performances that, you know, you'll always remember. It's like I've never knocked out a guy like that before. There's the story behind it and the build up and everything. It all makes for a great memory.
Yeah, no doubt, a meaningful chapter in the career. But, you know, Wellington Turman, mutual opponent there, tied in with, you know, Bruno Silva here, and, you know, he got that, you know, UFC victory there in his last outing. Seems like some M1 challenge experience on the record before that. Like, what was your initial feeling when this fight was kind of offered to you and, you know, Bruno Silva came your way?
You know, I kind of expected, because I've seen, you know, like on social media and stuff, guys will, you know, be like, who's going to fight Bruno Silva next? And they kind of matched me with him. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, he just KO'd Turman. I did too, and I'm off for a lot. Anyway, I kind of had a feeling that it might happen, and then it did. And I was like, cool. Like, I like this fight. He's fucking good, big Brazilian guy. He's got big power. But everybody hits hard in the UFC, you know, like, whatever. But, you know, good fight. But I like the matchup. I'm excited about this one. I think it's a good bounce back for me, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, getting the career, you know, or one of the highlights, like on the UFC level when you were kind of integrated there, you know, tough 23 winner at light heavyweight. Like, did you check out any of the Ultimate Fighter as it recently came back, or more so just locked down with the training and didn't really get to catch as much, as it were?
No, I haven't really been following it, to be honest. No, I can't say. I'm out of the loop a bit, you know. I've been so kind of obsessed and pulled into the training atmosphere here. AKA is a tough schedule here at AKA, man. Like, you're expected to be there every day. Expected to do all the training, you know, like, it's intense. So I've been focusing more on the training aspect.
Oh yeah, no doubt, something that demands a lot of your focuses for sure, man. So, I mean, I imagine some of that might apply to the, you know, recency with the whole Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul situation, just being that was a former training partner and mentor of yours, Woodley there. Like, was that something you kind of were out of the loop on too, or did you end up catching that Showtime pay-per-view there?
I hate to say it, I was out of the loop. I go through, you know, like, I watch MMA, like, you know, sporadically when I need. It's more about, like, an inspiration thing or, like, a study, like, film study. But, like, it just consumes me, man, you know? Like, I train so much, and it's always on my mind. So I kind of, especially when I'm in camp, I try and, like, out of training, I try and clear my head of MMA. So I didn't see it. And also it's kind of, you know, a bit of a circus with all the trash talking. So I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, you know? So I didn't see it.
No, that's totally fair, man. I mean, just to that point, though, like... Yeah, different strokes for different folks, I understand. But, like, to that point, I'm curious, like, what is it you get up to in your downtime to decompress there? Or is that maybe a bit of a private thing? Because I'd asked you about the music the last time, and you're like, oh, it's a bit of an intimate thing. I don't know about that.
Like, in the heat of camp, like, I play a lot of video games lately. I've been exploring California, you know. I've never lived over here. Some cool stuff over here, going over to San Francisco. Everything's like an hour away from San Jose. San Jose is okay. Pretty. It's like strip mall heaven, you know. But beautiful nature out here. Like to get out in the mountains. Go to San Francisco. San Francisco's a cool city. I love it there, man. It reminds me of Montreal-ish, you know. The beach is like an hour away. Everything's an hour away. So I like to get out and explore. But, man, like, in between training week, I sit around, I watch Netflix. I've been watching The Sopranos. I've never seen The Sopranos before. So I've been on a bit of a binge with that, and not too exciting. You know, I find it hard to be motivated to pursue other endeavors when I'm in a fight camp. You know, like, it takes all of my motive kind of energy. So, yeah, not the most exciting guy out of training, but you know, that's the way it is.
Oh, well, you're locked into what you're doing, and I mean, imagine it takes a lot of effort for sure. So I can understand that. It seems more like you're into the decompressing and relaxing after training and stuff like that. Like when you had that Death Valley picture on your Instagram, smoking the joint in the Grand Canyon and whatnot, like maybe just a relax, kick back kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a bit of a post-fight adventure. But yeah, I'm getting old. I'm 33. You got to focus on this recovery stuff, some important stuff. So I've been getting more massages, yoga, hot cold therapy. I do a lot of this stuff, and kind of this stuff keeps you young. So this is how my downtime is spent. I play guitar. I play a little guitar here and there, but not the best. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say with the concerts coming back and stuff like that, it seems like the landscape opening up a touch more for that. Do you think you and Zach Freeman are going to reunite the Cauliflowers, or perhaps not so much?
Oh man, that is old news, man. I seriously doubt that, but I do miss playing music with people, right? Like I played it by myself for a long time, but it's not as exciting, it's just like anything else. It's fun to feed off other people and kind of vibe and stuff, but I don't have that right now. But it's not out of the question. It's not out of the question to develop a new chapter, a new group of the quote Cauliflowers. I find a lot of MMA fighters are musicians or artists in some other way, So I would like to do something that at some point.
I was going to say, is there anyone AKA that you could jam with? Like anyone over at American Kickboxing Academy that lays it down on the drums or bass or anything like that?
That's a good question. I haven't really asked around, but for sure there is. There always is. There's always fighters that play music. But yeah, I've been so out of the loop. I just unmotivated. I don't know. I've lost my groove with that, But it's something I'd like to get back. I think I gotta find a group of people, maybe me, Kane, and Khabib will get a band going or something.
Yeah, Khabib just plays like crazy, like Victor Wooten bass licks or something like that.
Yeah, do you imagine? Yeah, please.
Yeah, that'd be a big fire up, no doubt, man. But I mean, you've been really good with your time. Yeah, you've been really good with your time, though, and always fun getting to talk to you, but just being mindful of your presumably, busy schedule and whatnot. Is there anything you might want to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up, man?
Ooh, parting thought, man. That's a tough one. I mean, what can I say, man? You got me, man. I don't got much to say. What can I say?
No, that's fine.
A few words.
Yeah.
Unless you want to put it on the spot. But I give a quick thank you to all my, supporters, my manager, Danny Rubenstein, for setting this up, and AKA, of course, for bringing me in, man. The warm welcome. They're very, they're super, closed off and niche, and they have to, anytime they bring in somebody new, they have to ask because it's very much a team atmosphere, so they have to ask the team, is it okay if Andrew Sanchez comes in? Everyone said, yeah, of course, and super welcoming, kind, and super happy to be here. And of course, back home at Tristar, man, my coaches back there, and Conrad and Frost and all those guys. And Nicole, sweet Nicole. She's my caretaker and chef for this camp. My lovely girl. So that's all I got to say.
Oh, there's some great shout-outs in my estimation, but this is going to be a great fight. October 16th, UFC Fight Night. Bruno Silva versus Andrew Sanchez. Preliminary portion of the card, a middleweight bout that I'm locked in for. And yeah, just appreciate you coming on the show, man. Fun getting to chop it up with you again. And yeah, looking forward to the build-up to the fight and everything like that. Best of luck with the training preparations and all, and just have a good rest of your day too, man.
All right, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on. It's always fun.